What if I told you that there are epic food stories that often go untold? Join your host, Seth, as he dives into the thrilling world of food challenges and competitive eating, interviewing those who not only take them on, but create them. Buckle up for the heart-pounding moments, behind-the-scenes experiences, and the passion fueling it all. This is Food Challenge News.
Welcome back to the Food Challenge News Podcast. I'm your host, Seth, and today I'm joined by Ace from Nonna's Pizza. How are you doing today, Ace?
I'm doing great.
Glad to hear it. I'm also doing great. And so, how has business been at Nonna's Pizza?
Business has been excellent. Very blessed. I'm very fortunate. I'm very thankful for the community and the surrounding communities that have supported us. All in all, we're very blessed. We opened in 2019, so we went through that whole pandemic stage, which really made everything just blow by so fast that I remember like it was yesterday when we first opened the doors.
And did you have any restaurant experience before opening Nonna's?
But yeah, a ton. I'm 33 years old. I've been working in pizzerias since I was 16. And this has just been my calling up until I found the right opportunity to finally get my own,
So how did you find the location for Nonna's?
I actually was just, I was working in the same town that Nona's is in, which is Southington, at a different spot, but like I hopped around um more so to learn different styles of pizza and different tricks from the trade, I guess, until this became an opportunity. And the way it became an opportunity was the guy that had it before me, kind of just died out and wasn't making enough to survive. So I was scared to go in, obviously, because, it's tough. It's a tough business. But I definitely did go through some rough patches. But with marketing, and actually, I think one of the biggest reasons why our business did still survive till today is part of our food challenge.
You were originally worried after that first restaurant had closed down, and you were going to take over that same building. So how long did it take for you to feel comfortable, like after that? I think we have something good here, and I think it'll continue.
Well, like I said before, it was tough because the first year, I'm pretty well known in town. So we have a huge, tremendous amount of support from just like friends and family that came by. And then step into next year, and then COVID hits us with a shutdown. And we didn't know what to do. I don't think anyone knew what to do during COVID. But then we realized that COVID was a time for pizzerias and these small little takeout and delivery spots to really make money. And that's when we got our biggest bang for the buck, actually, was during COVID. When everything was shut down, we had like 5, 6 delivery drivers on a Friday night just pumping out deliveries. Like, it was nuts.
So the inside of the restaurant was closed, but you could still do delivery.
Correct.
And would you get a lot of orders for delivery? Like, say, not only on weekends, but like on weekdays and stuff like that too?
Yeah, that's what really, like, it changed our perspective on like what we were going to do business wise, because we would have some Tuesdays, some Wednesdays. We are closed on Mondays, but like those mid weekdays were just really booming, and we're like, wow, like this is unbelievable. Very thankful. Then we noticed when everything started to open back up is when there was a dip in our business where we were like, okay, now we have to compete with every restaurant that's now open for dine in, you know what I mean? And we're going to lose those customers and we don't blame them because they're, you know what I mean? They're trapped inside their house quarantining for this whole time. So it was nice to see everyone be able to get out and go to other restaurants instead of just ordering takeout and delivery. But at the same time, I was also losing a lot of money.
So how long was it before you were kind of able to get back on track? Like after your dine-in opened again?
I would say as soon as dine-in opened back up, and then we saw the dip. I'd just probably say about 6 months, which were a horrible 6 months. We would not do the numbers that we were doing during COVID.
And moving over to some of your menu items, what are some of your top dishes that customers just can't get enough of?
There's a few of them actually. I'm actually partnered up with Slice. They're an online ordering company, and they do more than just online ordering, but that's what I mainly use them for. Um, they actually break down like what the customers order the most. And obviously our large cheese is probably our top seller. And then when you go over to like our specialty pizzas, the top seller on there is our penne alla vodka pizza.
That sounds extra delicious. So, can you tell me a little bit about what's on it?
Yeah. So this is a pie that me and my friend created one day when we were both working in the same kitchen, not here, at a different restaurant. And I wanted a large cheese pizza. He wanted penne alla vodka. And we were like, gonna share the meal. And we just kept going back and forth until we just said, you know what? Why don't we just create a penne alla vodka pizza? So he literally made the penne alla vodka in a pan, and I made the large cheese, and he threw it right on top of the large cheese, and we started eating it, and we were like blown away by how good this tasted. And we were like, all right, this is something we need to just put on the menu. Now I've seen a lot of places like do like a baked ziti pie, or even just a vodka sauce pie, where they'll use vodka sauce instead of like their pizza sauce. But we've never saw anyone put actual penne pasta on a pizza and enjoy it. And we did it, and it was just like our top seller.
Do you believe you're the first ones to offer that pizza?
You know what? I don't want to claim that, but I haven't seen any other spots do it. You know what I mean? There could always be that one hidden gem that doesn't have social media, no one knows about.
Yeah, that's really cool that you both wanted something different and it became something that sounds extra tasty. And now you said it's a top seller, right?
Yeah, yeah, it's our top seller for sure. And then behind that, our barbecue chicken pizza, it just goes crazy here. Where I'm more of like a buffalo chicken guy, but our barbecue chicken is just, it's absolutely to die for.
Yeah, I absolutely love barbecue chicken pizza. And not only that, but I also like a good spicy one as well. So if someone comes in and they're like, I want your barbecue chicken pizza, but I want it with a little something extra. I want something really hot on the pizza, whether it's like a pepper or a sauce. Can you accommodate them?
Of course. We actually just started doing on our TikTok requests. So people would go into our comments and request a pizza, and we'll reply with a video to their comment. And someone came up with this comment of buffacue. So it's kind of like a buffalo and a barbecue mixed together. And we might actually add that to our menu because it just tasted so good. It was like sweet, savory, spicy, it had a great combo. And a lot of people here in Southington, Connecticut, they're more ranch people than they are blue cheese people. Me personally, I'm a blue cheese guy, but the ranch is great too, and they love like our ranch sauce that gets drizzled on top of the pizza.
That just sounds great. I'm hungry right now, actually, for one.
You're always welcome, man. I know you're a little bit far from me, but if you're ever in Connecticut, I hope you come down.
Absolutely. If I'm ever in the area, you got it. It'd be cool to meet you too.
Yeah.
And I think that's really cool that you post on TikTok and invite suggestions and comments because you never know what someone might come up with, like that pizza you were just talking about that just hits the spot.
Yeah. As I mentioned to you before, I'm Albanian. So we have a huge Albanian community that very much so supports us. Um, and we have this traditional meal that we typically call burek. And basically someone wanted like a burek pizza style. So burek is actually made out of like pastry dough, and inside it could be stuffed with cheese, like a feta and ricotta cheese mix, or they would do like spinach also with the cheese, or they would do like ground beef and onions minced up very lightly, and it becomes this amazing, like crispy yet chewy on the inside, just awesome, delicious meal that we would always grow up having. So somebody had suggested that as a comment, and that was one of my top videos for the suggestions. So it is nice when they get involved, and I do try to read every comment and reply to all of them, but it gets hard, man, editing and filming, and you know what I mean?
And running your own restaurant too.
Yeah, it's tough.
So moving on to challenges, do you have multiple food challenges or do you just have one?
Okay, so let me break down this whole food challenge. When we saw our dip in business around 2022, I don't remember what month it was. I'm pretty sure it was in like one of these colder months, like between September to or October to December, one of those months. I decided to come up with a pizza challenge for 2 people if I could possibly make the biggest pizza that I could fit in my oven, which was a 30-inch round cheese pizza. So at first I figured, okay, let's do this as a little fun kind of competition between me and 2 people that think that they could eat this thing. And so I set some rules with it. I gave people 20 minutes to finish a 30-inch pizza, and there were rules such as you can't get up to go to the bathroom, you can't puke, and you can't chew anytime longer than the 20 minutes. So that was the rule. And if you did it, the pizza was free, and I offered a $200 cash prize to the people that would eat it. And if you didn't eat it, the pizza cost $50. And drinks were on the house. So I made this post, and believe it or not, my weakest social media, I would probably say, is my Facebook. This post in 2022 got over like 180,000 shares. Like it was just absolutely nuts. And people really were like calling us, asking us if it was real, I could easily do it, and blah, blah, blah. Like it turned into this whole, like I had to really get a book and start like making it by appointment only, because what would happen is somebody would come here on a Friday night when I'm having my only little rush of the week and be like, "Hey, I'm here to do the challenge." And I'm like, "Buddy, I can't make you a 30-inch pizza right now. You know, I got 6 deliveries ahead of you, 4 pickups. And if I make you this 30-inch pizza, it's going to take a little bit of time, and you know, you're going to cool off the oven, and I can't, like, you know what I mean?" So I really had to organize this and make it legit. So I was like, okay, you know, if you really are interested, come back on our slower day, which was like Wednesday night or like a Tuesday. You know what I mean? That's all I had to do was just jot these people down and give them like appointments to come and try to eat this pizza. And time after time after time, and people would come in. And this one kid came in 6 different times with 6 different people, and he couldn't get the pizza down. It just became this like family friendly kind of like observation thing where, you know, they would bring like 4 or 5 people with them and watch the challenge go down. And you know, Connecticut never really had anything of some sort like that, so it was like interesting to them. And at the same time, like I was doing great business wise with this, so it was like a super hit, but nobody could complete this. And then I'm getting these messages from these professional food eaters now. That's how big this blew up, where I didn't even think the MLE was a real thing, Major League Eating. I didn't even know that was like a real thing. um Till I started getting, you know, messages from those guys saying like, "Oh, that's so easy. I could do that by myself." I'm like, "By yourself? You know, like what are you talking about?" And so I would ignore those messages because I honestly didn't even think that that was physically possible. Didn't pay no mind to it, no anything. And then I get a message from, he's actually a bodybuilder, and we actually became best friends after this challenge. He goes by Big Twig. His name is Tim, though. And he's the owner of a supplement store in a town right next to us, which is in Bristol. He's got a huge social media following as well. And he makes this video calling me out, saying that him and his special guest were going to come in and beat my challenge. So we turned it into this like rivalry thing where, you're not going to do it. You are going to do it. You're not going to do it. Until I was like, why aren't you revealing who you're going to bring in to do the challenge? And he brings in Badlands Chugs.
Wow, so he brought Badlands to the restaurant to take on the challenge.
Yeah. So here comes Chugs. I was like, wow. Like, I didn't even think that was even gonna happen. I was the last guy that was on my mind. Like, I just know Chugs from this one viral clip where he burped and it turned into like this crazy meme. And I was like, I can't believe this guy's actually in my restaurant right now. So then I started looking him up like panically, and I'm seeing him chug these just gallons of liters of soda, and I'm like, holy cow! All right, he could drink, but I haven't seen him eat, so we'll see if he could eat. So him and Big Twig come in, and they bring this whole entourage with them. Dame Drops came in with him. I guess they're like best friends, and started recording the whole thing. So it comes time to eat, and they ate the pizza in 18 minutes and like 30 seconds. So they beat the challenge.
Wow.
Yeah, it was huge. It was like so many people watching, and my small little place, like it's so small. You can only fit like, I don't know, maybe 12 to 15 people in here. It was jam packed. I went on Facebook Live because like Facebook really gave me the most reactions out of this. So I would do every challenge Facebook Live, and like people that couldn't, would just, chime in on the videos, and it turned into like an episode of, who's going to try to eat, beat the challenge at Nonna's Pizza. So it was great, and business boomed off after that. But then I started getting a lot of messages from people that I had no clue, no names, no history, no major league eating people. It's one random guy. I'm sure you know who he is now. Ask It Locker Ball. His real name is Sean Butler.
Yeah, we've actually had him on the podcast.
No way. Awesome, awesome guy. So this guy shoots me a message. Now, mind you, he's from Lowell, Mass, which is about a 3.5 hour drive from my restaurant to his hometown. And he shoots me a message, and he's like, hey, I'm coming to do the challenge. And I shot a message back, and I said, oh, I'm sorry. The challenge is retired because 2 people beat it. The challenge is no longer going on. And he's like, well, I'm one person and I'm going to do it by myself. I'm like, oh God, here we go. I got another one of these people that are telling me they could eat the whole pizza by themselves. I'm like, all right, buddy, sure. Like not really thinking that he's going to actually come. So he gives me this random date and this random time. It was a Wednesday. I remember I told him like 8:30, and here I am, totally forgot about this guy actually coming here to do this. I was actually slow on that day, so I figured, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to close up early. I literally go to the door to lock the door, and here comes Sean with a book bag, a tripod, 3 cameras, a timer. I'm like, can I help you? He's like, oh, I'm here to do the challenge. I'm like, no way. I was like, you really came here by yourself? He's like, yeah. Please, man, don't tell me you're closing down. He's like, I just drove 3.5 hours. I'm like, oh my God, this guy's lost his mind, Like, you really think you're going to eat this thing by yourself? I'm like, Hugs and this bodybuilder, them two together, barely ate it in 18 minutes and 31 seconds. Like, what makes you think you're going to eat this thing? And he's so confident. He's got this laugh to him. It was just me, my mother, and my father. And they're like, well, just make it. Let's see what he could do. So I'm making him the pie, and he's setting up his tripod, and here we go now. I give everyone a little bit of time to let it cool off so you don't burn the roof of your mouth. And before he tries it, he looks at me and goes, so what do you have for dessert? I'm like, bro, like, come on, dude. Like, you're not gonna eat dessert, dude. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, to be honest with you, I was like, we actually ran out of cheesecake, and he was like, "Oh, I love cheesecake." He's like, "After I'm done with this, can you tell me where the nearest grocery store is so I can go and buy me a cheesecake?" And I'm looking at this guy like, dude, you're not even gonna be able to move, once this pizza hits your stomach. So here we go. He counts down 3, 2, 1, boom. Man, when I tell you this guy, so the pizza is the 30-inch pizza, and I cut it in 8 slices. So the slices just look so huge, and he is taking it one slice at a time. I'm just looking at the pizza just go away. It's just disappearing. And I'm just standing there in disbelief, like, me and my mother and my father, we were just looking at each other like, is this guy a human being? Like, what is actually going on here? And we're about like 4 minutes in. He has half of the pizza gone, like half gone at 4 minutes. And I'm like, well, all right, he's probably gonna tap out now because he's probably a quick eater, but there's no way he's gonna fit that whole 30-inch pizza in his stomach. There's no way. Boom. Another 2 minutes goes. Oh, mind you, he's like laughing the whole entire time with us, having conversation. So, how long you been in business? I'm like, dude, how are you asking me that right now? And he's laughing. Oh, Sean has that deep laugh, and he's he's like, oh man, he's like, I have to say, I've ate a lot of pizzas in my life before. This one just tastes so good. Like, I don't actually really want to eat this so fast, but I have to do this for the challenge, but I'm really enjoying this pizza. And like he's laughing, and me and my parents are just looking at each other like, dude, you know what I mean? I'm like, all right, well, I guess I just lost $200. Sean was so cool. Sean was like, you know what? I don't even want the money while he's eating. I'm like, what are you talking about? I was like, no, you're getting the money, dude. He's like, no. I was like, all right, well, then the pizza's free then. And he's like, all right, that's cool. How about that? We just cut a deal. And he just keeps going. And now, mind you, I became best friends with Big Twig, the bodybuilder. So I'm like, I have to FaceTime this guy because he's not going to believe this. So I FaceTime Big Twig while he's there eating it, and he's like, "Oh, he's disqualified. He's disqualified." I'm like, "Why that? Why do you think he's disqualified?" He's like, "There's no one else there. Where did the other guy go in the bathroom?" Because that was part of the rules. I was like, "Bro, there is nobody else in here." I was like, "It's just him alone eating the pizza," and he freaked out. He was like, "No way! Are you kidding me? What are you talking?" Like he was so mad that one guy beat their challenge. So, make a long story short, Sean came in, ate the 30-inch pizza in 12 minutes and like 42 seconds. And man, that was just, I mean, people on my Facebook were going crazy. Who is this guy? He's not normal. There's no way. He's part of the Matrix. And they were going crazy. This isn't real life. There's a glitch, you know? It was just absolutely nuts. And the whole time, Sean's just sitting there, like laughing, like nothing happened. Like he was just enjoying a nice little slice of pizza late at night. It was just so funny. So after Sean and I take photos, post them all over the internet, and it goes crazy. Um, then the pros started messaging me, and they're like, "Oh, I would come there and beat his record, but the MLE won't let me because I'm part of their, I have a contract with them and I can only do events that they do." And you know it just became like a technical thing more than anything else. So no other professionals came out. And then I had a new guy message me out of Danbury, Connecticut, Jerome Burns, which we also became very tight. And he told me he wanted to come down and participate in trying to eat a 30-inch pizza as well. But he told me that he wasn't going to beat Sean's record. He just said he thinks that he could do it. The rules still stood under 20 minutes, which is crazy, man. Like, I mean, it's so funny because after watching so many people fail, me and my brother were like, you know what? Like, we're competitive people. Like, let's try this thing ourselves, man. Come on, like, off the air, let's really give it a go. Bro, I tell you, man, like 2 slices in, I was ready to puke and throw up, and my head started to hurt. I just didn't want nothing to do with pizza. It was crazy. And to think that Sean did this by himself in 12 minutes, it was just mind blowing, man.
Sounds wild, and none of it would have happened had you not created the challenge or even shared on Facebook. Like what was your reaction when you saw it was just getting thousands and thousands of shares, like when you posted it?
When people were sharing it, some people's profiles are private. You can't see what the comments were underneath it. But for the people that have public profiles that shared our post, I would go in and read their comments, and they would be like, "No, this isn't real. This is easy. I could do that. Me and my brother could do that. Me and my cousin could do that. Me and my girlfriend could do that." I remember going to every public post that was shared on, and the people that commented, I would troll every single person that commented. Me, as the under Nonna's Pizza on Facebook, would go in onto their comments, reply to them, and be like, "Oh yeah," like try to get them to like actually come in. But I would troll them and be like, "Come on, buddy, you think you could come in here and eat this pizza?" And people would go crazy for that stuff. They were like, "Oh my God, the restaurant's talking shit." Like, we gotta go see this guy. So it just became like this friendly, funny kind of like, internet feud or beef, what the people call it now. And so yeah, like I was very surprised that it took off on Facebook, but very happy at the same time. And then so after Sean, everything just quieted down. Like people were like, "All right, that was crazy." We stopped the pizza thing. I'm very huge in supporting our community here in town. So I'm always helping the police department, the fire department, the ambulance, the hospitals, the schools that are around us. Whenever they need like, pizza parties or whatever, I'm always giving them like super discounts, you know what I mean? Because I know that they're helping the kids and so on and so forth. I came up with this idea. I've been Googling and Googling, and I even went on ChatGPT and I searched to see if anyone in Connecticut had thrown a pizza eating competition. Like I've seen pie eating competitions, but I've never seen a pizza eating competition. So that one I could tell you that I do hold that record. No one else has thrown a pizza eating competition in Connecticut. And I hosted that right in front of my building, and I got the police and the fire department involved. So let me break that down for you. My street is a very busy street. It's in the middle of downtown Southington. My building is 850 square feet, so very small. I couldn't fit all these people in here. So I thought to myself, what if I closed the road and just did a massive pizza eating competition right on the street? And I had to go through so much planning and zoning, the town committee, I had to hire police to actually close the road. It became like this very big event, and I got it done with the town manager's approval and the police's approval and the health department's approval. They all granted me the license to operate this pizza eating contest right outside of my building. And I'm surrounded by restaurants, so I was hoping that they weren't going to be upset with me closing the street down for about 5 hours for this. So I invited them as well. I let them vendor on the street to people that weren't going to compete in the contest, that maybe wanted to try their food or check out, their menu options, so on and so forth. Because like I said, I'm very community prone, so I wanted them to be a part of this. I didn't want to be greedy and, oh, look at this guy shut down the road. You know what I mean? Which not much really happens here in Southington other than we have two events which are huge, the Italian Festival and the Apple Harvest Festival. Nothing else in this town really excites people or gets them to come out. So I figured I'd come up with this idea where the police department and the fire department could go head to head against each other on a 30-inch pizza. So what I did was make two 30-inch pizzas, and I took 4 police officers and 4 firefighters, and they all got to go at it at the same time on a countdown, 3, 2, 1. Whoever could finish the pizza first becomes the champion. This turned into massiveness. So I made this poll on Facebook to get everybody to come down to this thing. And I made this poll, what do you guys think is going to win, police or fire? And it was like 90% of the people said fire department and 10% of them said police. And I'm like, wow. Mind you, our Southington Police Department, I had guys that are like, 6'4", 340 pounds. Like, I'm talking NFL linebacker, big dudes, man. That will crush you with like one squeeze. The other guys are, 6'2", 230 pounds, just lean, muscular. And the firemen are like 5'7", 140 pounds. And I'm like, they started kind of like trolling each other through their Facebook pages where, the police department would post, oh, don't forget, guys, to come down at Nonna's Pizza. We're going to be facing the Pee Wee firemen. You know what I mean? Like, they would troll each other like that. And it turned into this hilarious, like, battle. And the local news channel came out. And so what I did was to try to get a lot of more people involved. I did the amateur contest, which was anyone that wanted to sign up. It would cost them $50 to sign up, and the first place winner gets a cash prize of $500. And the police versus fire, obviously, they get the Battle of the Badges bragging rights. I gave them a huge trophy, and whoever won, I was going to donate a pizza party to each department, whoever won, on me. And then I had 2 professionals, quote unquote professionals, come down and do the 30-inch pizza challenge all in one day. I had about 15 contestants, which were in the amateurs, and their challenge was just a 18-inch large cheese pizza, whoever could eat it the fastest. Now, mind you, I had people from all over Connecticut, New Jersey, New York, Mass, Pennsylvania, messaging me for this competition. So I'm like, okay, come down on this day and blah, blah, blah. And I had this one kid. I remember as soon as I made the post for the thing, he called me within like 5 minutes. And he's like, hey, I'm trying to think of his name. I can't think of his name off the top of my head. He's out of New York. And he messaged me and he's like, hey, I want to try this pizza eating contest and blah, blah, blah. I was like, sure, bud, just thanks for calling so early, but it's not for another 3 months. And he's like, no, I just wanted to make sure that you have my spots, secured there. And when I come, I'll bring the money and I'll enter the competition. So the day goes on. He shows up. 14 others show up. We're ready to go. Mind you, I'm like emceeing this whole competition while I'm in the kitchen making the pies for them. Like, it was rough. My next contest that I'm going to do is going to be a little bit different. So here I am. I make 15 large pies. I come outside with them. They're all in a box. I set them up in front of each other, get the countdown going, and they all asked for like 2 or 3 bottles of water. So here I am. I do the pizza, the water right there, and here goes this guy from New York. I count down 3, 2, 1, go. He just takes his bottle of water and he just dumps it all over the pie, man. I mean, it was just this puddle, grease, disgusting looking thing. And here he goes, man. He's just disgustingly like scarfing this thing down like a dog, man. Like a dog that hasn't eaten in 10 months. He's just boom, boom, boom. Bro, he ate a large cheese pizza in 3 minutes and like 29 seconds. I think that's the record.
What?
I swear to God, man, an 18-inch large pizza in 3 minutes and like something seconds.
Wow.
Dude, so like mind you, I had the pros here and they start, who the hell is this guy? And blah blah blah. They're like, what's going on? Blah, blah. Come to find out, man, he's done these competitions in New York like so many times. He's won so many times. So he kind of hustled us, but it is what it is because it was really meant for like amateurs. You know what I mean? Like I wanted just, people that think they could eat a lot and quick, kind of like a friendly town thing to get wild up for the pros to do the 30-inch and the police. But it is what it is. So the guy won, and he gets his $500, and everyone was so in shock like what he did. This other guy was so pissed that he found out he was kind of like a professional. He was like, "Oh man," he's like, "Oh, I just can't believe I just scarfed this thing now. I feel like shit after eating so fast." Like those guys were pro. So then that ended, and then I figured, all right, let's do the police versus the fire, and they show up. And the firefighters are at the bar next door to us, like pre-gaming for this thing. And the police hired a nutritional coach for this event.
Really?
Dude, they made t-shirts. They took this thing like so serious. Like it was the Super Bowl. Like it was just nuts. So I bring out the firefighters pizza. And now, mind you, I have to go in and make the other 30-inch pizza. I can only make one at a time. You know what I mean? So here I am. I'm making the pie, and I'm like, listen, for the firefighters, you guys are going to have time to let this cool off because by the time I make the other one, it's going to be another 5 minutes. So you're going to have 5 minutes of cool off time. And I turned to the police, and I said, when your pie comes out, you guys could let it cool off for another 5 minutes as well. Do you want that to happen? And I asked all 4 of them, and they were like, no, you know what? The firefighters, they're little girls, we're going to beat them. I don't care how piping hot it is. And I'm like, okay, So it probably cooled off for about 2 minutes. That's it. And now the crowd starts to like go crazy. And I count down 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, boom. And they start chomping away. And the firefighters look great in the opening like minute. Like, so it's cut in 8. There's 4 people. And what they decided to do was fold 2 slices together and just chomp, 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 which they got pretty far. And I looked down, there was no pizza on the cardboard, like within the first minute. And I'm like, holy shit, the firefighters are no joke. And the police had a whole strategy, man. Their strategy was to give like their biggest guy the cheese off of the pizza. So this guy was literally putting his hand all inside the pizza and just scraping the cheese off, putting it into a ball and just chomping on it. And mind you, it is piping hot. All of them burnt their mouth on the pie. And they were like, oh shit, it's too hot. It's too hot. And they're like, and they're looking over at the fire department. They're like halfway done with the thing. And all of a sudden, man, the police were just like, come on, let's go. And they just start chomping, chomping, chomping. And I look over at the fire department and they seem to be giving up. Their jaw is kind of locking. Like it's just getting a little too hard for them. They still have massive crust left. And the police just finished up the cheese. And I look over and they finished the pie in like 4 minutes and they won the competition. And the fire department still had about like three slices left. It was crazy.
Wow.
Oh man, you should have seen the crowd and the reaction of the police department. I mean, they were going great. Like I'm telling, like it was like a, when they do the Army versus Navy football game, like it was like that, man. It was just like a lot of chanting going on, and it was nice. You know what I mean? It was a good, fun time. And that's when I also messaged Sean and the kid from Danbury, Jerome, to come in and do a heads up 30-inch versus 30-inch alone. So people were like, holy cow, these big police firemen just did 4 people at a 30-inch. How are these guys going to do a 30-inch by themselves? Well, they did it. And it was almost close in the beginning. Rome was, going at it. But Sean is just a different animal, man. Sean finished the pie. He beat his own record. He got it down in 9 minutes and like 30 or 15 seconds. You know what? My brother mentioned this to me, and I forgot to actually tell Sean this too. So I hope he listens in on this as well. You know what's crazy about that challenge too? My brother told me when I took the pie out of the oven, I think I left Sean's in a little bit too long, and the bottom got a little burnt. But I'm in front of all these people. They're all waiting. You know what I mean? And I'm like, I'm not going to make another. I got to hold these people again. You know what I mean? I don't want to. And I just served it, man. I served it. And I looked at the bottom and I noticed it when Sean was picking up the slice to go eat it. I'd look and I'd be like, damn, the bottom is actually a little black. I don't know if that's going to affect him in the eating process. This dude beat his own record, even with the pizza being a little burnt.
Wow.
And we're all like, the hell is going on? So he finishes it in 9 minutes. And now everyone wants, this is Jerome's like really first big pizza challenge by himself. So we're all cheering him on. Like, just to even get it down in 20 minutes is still absolutely crazy to us. So we're cheering him on. And he got it down in like 14 minutes and like 52 seconds or something like that. And the crowd goes crazy, even for Jerome. Like, he did that whole pie in 14 minutes. Mind you, Jerome's like 5'6", probably 130 pounds.
I also wanted to ask, what's the win-loss ratio of the pizza challenge?
Only 2 people completed the challenge. So, and about 50 of them tried it. So 49-1. Then if you want to go like single people, they actually both did it. So no one's actually came here and tried to do it by themselves.
Are you inviting more people to try it solo?
I mean, to be honest with you, I don't really want to like advocate it because I personally don't think anyone's going to beat Sean's record of 9 minutes. Like, that's just absolutely craziness to me. Although I have gotten a message from a guy named Jeff Esper, which has a pretty big name, and says he could do it, but I don't know.
Yeah, I've also had him on as well on the podcast, actually.
You've had Jeff, huh? I invited him. The door is always open. Any food challenger that wants to come in and try to take Sean's throne, yeah, the door is open. So I'm gonna be throwing another challenge now with different police departments in surrounding towns because they found out that the police beat the fire, and now like our rival town here in Southington, Connecticut is Cheshire. So we're gonna have like Cheshire versus Southington, and kind of turn this into like a tournament type of deal where we could see which police department in our surrounding towns could eat the fastest.
You got more eating contests on the horizon, sounds like.
Yes, for sure.
And I think it's really cool how, you're so passionate, about the community and also the surrounding restaurants when you said you shut the street down, that you let them come out and, have like their vending setups and stuff like that. So I think that's really thoughtful of you. And so are you just shocked now that pretty much none of this would have happened had you not like created some sort of competition surrounding your food?
Yeah, we were all shocked, honestly, and it's so funny because, as I mentioned before, I'm surrounded by bars and restaurants, so people, like to walk on our street, after they've been drinking a little bit, and it'll be people that have tried our challenge, and if I'm outside, I'll hear something like, oh man, that's that pizza place. I lost by, like 1 second. I only had like a little bit of the crust left. Like, they were doing this, like, it's like the pizza place is known for the challenge now.
So I know you're getting ready to open soon, and I really appreciate your time, Ace. So we can just get through these pretty quick. So what do you think sets Nonna's Pizza apart from other restaurants with similar cuisine?
You know what? We're all the same, but I will tell you this. There's different levels when it comes to marketing and getting involved in the community. And that's what separates me from the others because I really um, do want our community to know that without them, we wouldn't even be here. I mean, let's just face it. That's the truth. Um, these guys order from us, we feed their families, they put money in our pockets. So it's only right and fair that, we could do as much as we can for them, just how they're keeping us in business. And other business owners won't realize that because they're too greedy. This is what separates me from the others. And the marketing, the annoying TikToks, the annoying Instagram posts, the annoying Facebook posts. They're annoying, but everybody nowadays is on their phones and it's free. So why not use it to your advantage? They're stuck into this old school way of marketing and they think sending mailings out to the menus and that was popular in 2005, not 2025. And I think that's the biggest difference.
And do you have any exciting plans for expansion, like new menu items, a new concept, or even a second location?
No. I thought about second locations multiple times, but you know what? I want to be legendary in this business, and I will say this until the day that I die. I don't care how many locations a certain restaurant will have. I can't be at multiple locations. So then that means that, other people's hands are gonna get involved in the recipe and the pizza making process. And that's when quality starts to go down and that's when things start to change. And I don't want to be that, you know. Obviously I think I would make a lot more money if I did do that, but a lot more money isn't always the best option.
And lastly, before we wrap it up, is there any special shout outs that you want to give to your loyal customers or anything you'd like to say to anyone thinking about visiting your restaurant?
Yeah, if you're thinking about coming to my restaurant, come hungry because I'm going to have a challenge for you, which includes the 30-inch pizza challenge. And if you've tried and failed again, um, come down and fail again.
You heard it right here on the Food Challenge News Podcast. Ace, thanks for coming on the podcast today and taking the time to chat with me. I really do appreciate that.
Thank you for having me, man. I appreciate it.
And that concludes our interview with Ace from Nonna's Pizza. I will have all of the links to Nonna's Pizza in the description below. And thanks for listening, everyone, as always. And we'll see you in the next episode.